Hello everyone. I've just finished reading Simon Tomlin's Patriot games. Okay. You can purchase it on Amazon for £10. I urge you all to read it. It's a real eye-opener as to what's really going on in British politics. I believe that Simon has found a way to deal with the problem of mass immigration into the UK, and in the doing, to free us from the globalist takeover, the fucking New World Order. He starts by quoting Nigel Farage's own words: UKIP was only ever a barometer to measure anti-establishment sentiment. And he dedicates his book to all the genuine Leave voters who fought for a complete Brexit. Simon has written a number of books which can be purchased on Amazon, and he has a YouTube channel called The Daily Agenda. So listen to what he's got to say. He absolutely knows his stuff, I can assure you. I'm now going to read a few pages from his book, from page 156 to the end. I've typed them up because I've just put a post up on Facebook. So this is what he writes. Countless times this year alone, people on social media and in the streets have said to me, we should have voted for the BNP when we had a chance. Indeed, but that boat sailed in 2013 when Nick Griffin completed his malicious wrecking operation of the most successful nationalist party in British history. With the centre-right having nothing meaningful to offer on immigration and the Homeland Party in disarray, I decided to start the campaign group Remigration Action to promote the issue. But the campaign group had to have a raft of policy planks, and I tailored those to appeal to Leave voters betrayed by the centre-right in league with Boris Johnson to deliver Brino, Brexit in name only, and mass immigration, which 17.4 million people did not vote for. Leave voters wanted immigration brought under total control and reduced to the mere thousands after intensive vetting. Many people think they can lead until it comes to crafting policy, and that's where most fall down. I offered people Remigration Action, mindful of the public swing to support remigration. The demand for remigration will grow louder and more widespread as the country descends into primary balkanisation. But this is where the imitation game played by the centre-right comes into play. They merely imitate nationalism to siphon away its support. Fake Farage made this clear in May 2024 when he told reporters it's either me or someone like Nick Griffin. Terrified of genuine nationalism, they chose to promote Farage instead, who now appears to have gone full-on woke. Mindful of the toxic imitation game played by the centre-right, I decided to write remigration policy so strong they would never be able to imitate it. And it worked because all they do is rant about our remigration policy whilst claiming to support remigration, which makes them look ridiculous. That was the twofold objective from the outset. I knew it would work because the entire centre-right is controlled opposition to stop the rise in nationalism. The purpose of the Nationality and Remigration Act proposal is to facilitate a reversal of mass immigration and the consequent harm done to the indigenous population opposed to it. To achieve this status in law, we have to leave the 1951 UN Refugee Convention and all subsequent amendments at the United Nations. Leaving the Council of Europe, or ECHR, is vitally important to ensure legally nothing can be done in the biased courts by activist judges to halt remigration. All liberal left activist judges will be replaced. And this is the agenda. A plethora of toxic legislation has been passed through the UK Parliament by the globalists to ensure mass immigration and illegal migration can continue contrary to the will of the majority. At the EU Ref on 23rd of June 2016, some 17.4 million Britons voted to take control over our borders and halt the immigration invasion. The will of the majority was ignored with a raft of anti-democratic measures designed to subvert the public mandate. Remigration is now an existential threat for the British people, and their will has been subverted by treacherous globalists in Parliament. As a result, we propose to enforce the public mandate using new legislation. But first, a nexus of interconnecting acts of law have to be repealed, starting with the Race Relations Act and the Equalities Act, both of which aid and abet legal immigration, notoriously described as the Blair Wave and Boris Wave, as the fundamental threat to our national security. But illegal migration must be stopped first to secure our borders for public safety. And these are his emergency proposals. So the nationality and remigration policy can only succeed where a credible set of proposals has been worked out to ensure its success, and it has to be underpinned by new legislation. Number 1. Britain will withdraw from the 1951 UN Refugee Convention and the Council of Europe, otherwise known as the ECHR. We will stop all immigration for a minimum of 10 years, a vital moratorium to secure our borders. Number 2. The Race Relations Act and the Equalities Act will be repealed entirely without amendment and replaced later by the Nationality Act. Number 3. Legal aid funding to immigration lawyers and for all immigration cases in the courts will be stopped. Private funding donated to lawyers from overseas will be seized. By withdrawing from the ECHR and the UN Refugee Convention, lawyers will have no grounds to appeal any deportation order by the Home Office. Number 4. All immigration legislation will be repealed or amended according to the exigencies of national security and for public protection. Number 5. Organisations like Care for Calais will be regarded as people traffickers and a threat to national security, and their activists will be detained under counter-terrorism legislation. I'm loving this. Number 6. All demonstrations in favour of legal and or illegal immigration will be proscribed by the Home Secretary as a threat to national security and to ensure the remigration process can be undertaken with the minimum interference by dangerous left-wing radicals. Where necessary for public protection, leftist groups will be proscribed by the Home Secretary using executive authority. Now, this is his remigration objective. So the objective of nationality and remigration is to achieve a 95% Indigenous supermajority, or at the very least, it should be 90%. We set out the key proposals as follows for the people we regard deemed suitable for remigration and our plan to make it happen. Number 1. In the first wave, with all the forging emergency proposals in force, we will set about stopping all illegal immigration to resolve the crisis in the English Channel. We will deploy military forces where needed to stop illegal boat crossings until deterrence is achieved. All social benefits to illegal migrants will be stopped immediately, and those already on British soil will be remigrated to their country of origin without appeal to any court. Brilliant. To ensure the success of the operation, we will negotiate a returns policy with the nations involved. Number 2. After tackling the illegal immigration crisis, we will remigrate all foreign criminals and all Islamists on the terror watch list and their families and support network. Foreign criminals also relates to everyone involved in the grooming gangs conspiracy, and we propose to seize their assets using POCA, the Proceeds of Crime Act, legislation to finance their remigration. Number 3, a raft of foreign subversives has taken root in Britain, routinely appearing on television shows to denounce or attack white people and Britain in general, and we regard all of these foreigners as Tier 1 candidates for remigration. Our objective will be to remigrate all of them to nations where they do not feel so uncomfortable around white people and European culture. Number 4, our next objective will be to remigrate the Blair wave and the Boris wave, who entered Britain during the globalist onslaught against the nation state. In real terms, all foreigners who entered this country from 1997 onwards will be deemed remigration candidates, and our objective will be to remove them from the country in phased operations. Number 5, in the final phase of remigration, we will go through all existing immigration records dating back to the arrival of the Empire Windrush in 1948. From this list, we will determine who will be allowed to stay in the country. Over 70s of retirement age will be exempted automatically, as will mixed-race people with one British parent. Our objective is to achieve a 95% white supermajority within 20 years, or at the very least, a 90% white supermajority. Number 6, the entire anti-British race relations industry and all diversity hires will be put out of business permanently. A notorious example being the creation of a Windrush Commissioner by the anti-British Labour regime. Number 7, once immigration has been brought under control and remigration is proceeding at a successful pace, we will introduce the variable residency rules policy for all European nations, and this will be open for those of European heritage only. Our genetic cousins in the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand and South Africa will be given a fast-track status to settling in the UK. Number 8, we will make it illegal to campaign for British sovereignty to be surrendered to a foreign power like the EU, thus ensuring the permanent existence of the nation-state and our triumph over globalism. Number 9, the Nationality and Remigration Act will be amended to the Nationality Act once remigration has been completed, and this legislation will bind all future parliaments in constitutional law. British right-wing voters now have to decide if they are centre-right or nationalists. I've always been a nationalist and always will be. I do not face this quandary, but I have seen this year alone thousands of patriots realise they are nationalists, not centre-right. We are progressing against the faux centre-right, and they know it because they can't stop ranting about nationalists. In truth, we are slowly and surely winning the war against the toxic centre-right and their imitation game operation. Nationalism is now set to rise again, which has always been my true objective. And that is the end of Simon's book, Patriot Games, by Simon Tomlin. Get it, read it. Seriously, he knows his stuff. Personally, I think his proposals are a little too draconian for most British people. I think a more sensible approach would be to remigrate all those who are claiming benefits and to let everybody else stay in the country, assuming, of course, that they're not criminals, they're not on any terror watch list, they're not subversives, that they are well integrated, including that they can speak English and that they are in abeyance with British law and culture. Going forward, I think migration into Britain should be under strict application rule and allowed only for certain people, people of a certain age who are in certain professions or, certain trades, that they have a certain amount of money in the bank. That's just my thoughts on the matter. Okay, that's it. Bye for now. Bye.